Clark.
How many have seen Dr. Jeffress on Fox News as a contributor on Fox News? Oh, yeah, quite a few of you. Okay. Since we got a couple extra minutes, I want to ask you a question that I bet you wish you would get asked on Fox News, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Here's the question. There are those that would say that the separation clause of the Constitution would mandate that all public discourse be totally secular. Do you believe that the separation clause mandates secular discourse?
Well, first of all, there is no separation clause. It doesn't appear anywhere in the Constitution. There's no such thing as a separation of church and state in the Constitution. What the First Amendment says is Congress shall make no law regarding the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Our forefathers came from another country where there was a state-imposed church, where people were forced to worship. They wanted no part of that. They said, we're not going to allow government to establish a state church and coerce people to worship in it. That's all it says. It has nothing to say about Ten Commandment displays in schools, nativity scenes in the public squares, or prayers at the graduation. That is absolutely. In fact, in the early, in 1980, the Supreme Court in Stone versus Graham said, you can no longer display the Ten Commandments in a Kentucky school. Can't even display them, much less teach them. What's interesting, Clark, is 118 years before that, a similar case came before the Supreme Court of whether the Bible could be read in school. And the Supreme Court said unanimously, and I'm quoting, why may not the Bible, especially the New Testament, be taught as God's revelation? Where can the principles of morality be so clearly found than the New Testament? Now, that was the Supreme Court 118 years earlier. And every time I'm on Fox debating some of these pinheads from the ACLU, I ask them the question. I say, now tell me, why is it in the mid-1800s you could read and teach the New Testament, but suddenly the Supreme Court decides 118 years later that you can't even post the Ten Commandments? What changed? Did the Constitution change and nobody told us about it? Of course not. The Constitution hasn't changed, but what has changed is this. We have allowed the atheists, the secularists, the humanists to hijack our Constitution and pervert it into something our forefathers never intended. That's what the problem is. And I'm going to say this, and it may cost me some book sales, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank God we have a president like Donald J. Trump who understands that. I don't like seeing my friend under attack like he is under right now, but I don't like the prospect of what's going to happen in America if we allow the left to seize control of this country again. And I believe one of the great ironies of history is going to be this. When the historians look back, they are going to say with great surprise that it was a secular billionaire real estate tycoon from New York City who became the most pro-life, pro-religious liberty, and pro-Israel president in history. Now, that's what I believe.